let's talk about Laurus Labs, because that particular counter came out with its earnings yesterday. If you look at the profits, saw an uptick of about 32% on a year-on-year basis, revenue seeing an uptick of about 50%. However, the margins has taken a dip on a year-on-year basis, 161 basis point downtick in the margins, coming in at around 26.1%. We have the management of Laurus Labs joining us, Dr. Satyanarayana Chava, who is the founder and CEO of the company. A very good afternoon to you, Doctor. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's talk about your earnings right away. 50% year-on-year growth in your revenues was predominantly, if you look at it, driven by the COVID contracts. Could you tell us how has the base business done and what is the growth for the same?
The base business growth was also good. If you look at our ARV APIs sales picked up significantly, and formulation ARVs also picked up, but the numbers are not very high because of depressed pricing. Non-ARVs also did extremely well.
So the formulation, the FDF business saw a QOQ recovery of about 67%. But still, when you compare it to a low base, it's not even close to the base year number. Why so?
The reason primarily attributed to lower offtake of ARV formulations. Although we did increase our sales in ARV formulations, but below the normal sales what we achieved in the earlier quarters. We hope the ARV formulation sales also will pick up from Q4 on.
So the ARV formulation side of the business has, after a long time seen new tenders coming in. What is the sense you get for that?
Yes, we were selected as a panel supplier for Global Fund ARV drug procurement for the period 23, 24, 25. That supplies will start soon.
But sir, do you get a sense that ARV business is seeing a bottoming out of prices? For quarter after quarter, they have been just going down?
The main reason for lower prices of ARVs is the number of patients on HIV treatment remain more or less flat. The growth is not there. And there is a increase in intensity of the competition that led to the lower pricings. We believe, I think this is bottomed out. We don't expect the pricings will go down further.
Right, Dr. Chava, what is the progress, especially on Laurus, where it continues to make good progress in shifting the mix away from ARVs and scaling up capabilities and capacities in the CDMO? Could you tell us what's the progress on this particular shift that you're undertaking with the way how Laurus does business?
If you look at the current 9 months financials, the ARV APIs and formulation put together contributed only 35% of revenue came from ARVs. It used to be 85% during IPO times, but now it is 35%. And we do hope the ARV revenues contribution will be similar to what we have seen in this current financial year. And our capex and resource allocation is also more towards non-ARV formulations and also CDMO. So we do believe the diversification efforts what company is doing really giving fruits.
Can you talk about the pharma sector, sir? Each sector within the pharma sector, whether it's injectable, whether it's generics, whether it's hospitals, are, either somewhere or the other are suffering towards pricing erosion, somewhere or the other suffering towards excessive supply in the market. What is the sense you get for the next year?
I would say the demand hasn't came down. Maybe people have excess capacities both in APIs and formulations. And also many companies also came under regulatory scanning. So for them to keep the facilities running, they want more market share for the existing products. These factors led to lower pricing in both in APIs and also in the formulation space.
Right, Dr. Chava. So how do you see all of this landscape changing going ahead for your company?
I think the pricing, I don't expect will go down further in the API space. It reached the bottom already. And below this, it is not viable for many players. Maybe players with scale and ability to withstand will be able to remain in the business. Otherwise, it is a very challenging period for small players.
Much sir, for taking out time for us. Good to get perspective. That's the management at Laurus explaining about ARV sales, pricing pressure, what's the way ahead for the company.